Okay, so now, if you remember, it wasn't very long ago we were working on our Briggs & Stratton. Well, not that, but this huge pile of garbage is what came out of the carburetor. So now, and this is essentially the identical carburetor, so though it's on a 1-horse smaller engine. So let's see what comes out of this one. All right, start and stop, start and stop. The bolt gets tight and then it gets loose. Let's just get a If any of you folks are up north, like I am, how wonderful is the weather? It's February 9th, looking at my watch, that's what it says, so it wasn't very long ago and it was getting close to 30 below. How appreciated. All right, now before we go any further, I want to check this jet here, and let's see how many turns out is this. So 1, almost 1.5, and that's pretty well exactly where I will set it. And even if it wasn't at 1.5, that's where I would set it when I go to put it back together. All right. And I don't know if you guys can see in there, but I do see a chunk of debris in there. All right, let's check this one here. 1, about a little over 1.5. Little over 1.5. Also about where I would put it. It's really gummed up. Doesn't want to come out. There we go. Well, it's clean. I don't see, any debris on it. It may have just been the O-ring here that was kind of holding me up. Let's see. I want to see. If I can, wrong size. Oh, should be a 7/16. Yeah, I want to turn this out. I didn't do that on the last one, and that kind of made my life difficult. Wow, that wasn't tight at all. I don't think I even needed a socket. Okay, well that just comes out. Now, in there you see you have a jet. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if we can turn that out of there. Oh, very nice and easily. Okay. So now taking that out is going to, well, maybe not. Gee, it was coming out nice and easy. But taking this out will make removing the bowl much, much easier. And you do run the risk of needing, causing damage and needing to get a new part if you don't take this out. And I learned that from, well, not only from doing it, but from one of our viewers that got in the comments and let me know that if you take this emulsion tube out, then you won't bend it when you try to get the bowl off. And I really do recommend it because it's very easy to bend this. So let's take a peek at this. It is clear. Yeah, it's not plugged, so that's great. Kind of surprising. Okay. Now, you'll see this, oh, what do you call this? Bronze. It's like a breather. Gosh, I can't remember what you call that. Let's see. No fuel. Wow, really? All right, well, there's really nothing at all to speak of in there. It's not what I expected to see. The float looks good. Get you guys a peek right in there. You can see the needle is moving, so that's not stuck. Really, maybe didn't even need to touch this carburetor. That doesn't happen very often. I am sure this pin will fall right out. Yep. Let's take the float out. All right. The needle is the non-rubber tip type, which the more I do carburetors, the more I like those. All right, so that comes out like that. There's nothing at all in the float, of course. Looks really, really good. Just like the last one, we've got a little tear off of the gasket here. Let's see if we can't coax this fella off of here without any more damage. I found that using a screwdriver like this, not a, nothing sharp, not a chisel and not a razor blade, will really help, unless it's really bad, will help get your gasket off. This is being really stubborn here. I don't know. Boy. There we go. Just be patient with it. And it broke. All right. Well, I guess I am going to have to resort to something sharp here. Oh, this is so stuck. Yeah, all right. Well, I got it off well enough, but unfortunately it's in 3 pieces, so yeah, well, we'll see what we can do. So all in all, other than a big pile of, like, looks like German Shepherd hair and dirt, it really looks quite good. We'll go ahead and put it in the cleaner anyway, but really, I think it's really more just cleaning the externals more than it is the internal. So, but hey, that's all right. Okay, well, I'll be back when we have this cleaned up, and we'll see you then. All right, so about 30 or so minutes, 35 minutes later, we've got ourselves an awfully good looking carburetor. Looking really nice. So, let's go ahead and see if we can't start. No, that doesn't go in. I want it, yeah, that goes in after I put it together. That goes in after I put it together. So, let's see. Let's get our needle back in our, attached to the float. Drop that into place. All right, then we'll get our pin put back in. There we go. That was a little bit on the stubborn side. Let's see, now this can get threaded in. So now we'll go ahead and thread this jet all the way in until it bottoms out softly, not, you don't get rough with it. All right, so right there we are. So there's 1.5 turns out, and that should be exactly where it needs to be, give or take. All right, now let's see, we are going to go ahead and get out our Moto Seal. Seems like a really great product. I really don't have really much bad to say about it. It works well. Don't need much. Really just a very light layer of it. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and get our gasket back in place. All right, that looks good. And then we got 2 little pieces we need to get back in the game here. I'll make sure I got them right here. Let's see. I think this fella goes on like that, right there. I am going to start stocking these gaskets if I have one more. Or maybe I'm just going to start stocking them. Didn't really figure I'd be getting into this kind of content production, but that's okay. I enjoy it. Hopefully you guys do too. Okay, there we are. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more. I want to get just a little bit on, I might be making this look stupid, but get things where I want them to be and get some more sealant on that. Oh my goodness. I will get this, by golly. Once you get this sticky stuff on your hands, you start making, you can't touch it without moving it how you don't want it. All right, right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of sealant along this as well to help ensure we do not have any issues. Again, it doesn't take much. The sealant is pretty tacky. And, you know, it's worth saying that a lot of you guys watching this stuff probably have as much or more experience as I do. It's just that, you know, I'm doing what I can to make a YouTube channel and entertain and teach. So with that being said, let's make sure we're all nice in the comments and courteous to each other, because we're not here for that kind of nonsense, saying nasty stuff, because any nasty stuff in the comments, and the comment will be removed, as will the person who made it. That's not what we're here for. Nobody needs to have their day made worse. So, wait, did I just... I did. Oh gosh. I did just screw this up. Okay. Well, that's all right. We can... How do I... Okay, I see what I did wrong. Okay. So you guys are probably laughing in the comments, and I'd be laughing too. Okay. So let's start over. All right, pin's out, float's out, needle is out. Okay, so in case you didn't see what I did wrong, I'll show you. So this needs to come off of here. I'm gonna flip it over and put it down here. Yes, right there. Now why does that not quite fit? All right, let's try it this way. Yes, right there. Okay, it only goes on just one way, and it's got to fit just so to let the float work here on the posts. All right, so now let's see. Now we need to take these two unfortunate broken off little pieces. We'll get these down here. Right about right there. Okay. Okay. Now that the gasket's in place for real, now is the time when we'll go ahead and put the float in place and the needle. So we'll get that put back on. Okay, now we'll get the needle set in place. Okay, that went in place very nicely. All right, now we still have plenty of gasket maker on the bowl, so we'll go ahead and put that in place. You want to make sure that the pin holding the float in place is, you know, roughly centered. Otherwise, it'll hold up the, you know, it'll get in the way of the bowl. Okay. All right, everything is just how it needs to be. Now we'll hold this together fairly tightly and get our 3 bolts in place. We'll get those started. Yeah, this will go quite a bit easier with a new gasket. Okay. Well, that certainly should have been entertaining for you guys. We try, huh? And of course you want to let the gasket maker sit for a moment, though that doesn't really matter because I'm pretty sure we need a new coil, so we're not going to be lighting fire to this situation anytime soon. Okay, now we're going to take our emulsion tube, make sure everything is good and clean. So yeah, that really is the way to disassemble this carburetor, is to take that out before you remove the bowl. Much easier. It threads in there a ways, so take your time. All right, nice and snug. And then you'll take this and thread that back in. Snug. Needle back in. And remember, there is a washer before the spring. And it feels weird when you first start threading it in because of the flat rubber gasket that's in the fitting that threads in first. All right, thread it in until it bottoms out. Just snug, don't make it tight, don't over tighten it. All right, so that is 1.5 turns. And so then we've got a carburetor that's ready for a new fuel line, a new fuel filter, and then we can install this. So I don't have all of that. I don't have the fuel filter yet. And like I say, I am pretty sure I need a new coil. So we'll be working on that. I will be back when I got either a new coil, or I'll show you guys how to test the one that we have. Okay, so I've looked into this, the coil here. So seeing as we do not have wires going back behind the flywheel, this is just new enough, because in 1986, most but not all Briggs & Strattons had gone away from points and condensers. If you do have points and condensers, you will have wires going back behind your flywheel because they will be behind the flywheel. All right, so since I don't have that, I want to just make sure, because I didn't check it previously. So the air gap between the flywheel, okay, there's a lot of magnetism here. Oh, there, okay. So the air gap is 10 to 14 thousandths. So I'm using a 12 thousandths shim, and we're going to go ahead and set it at that gap. I about lost that socket. And all right, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. At 12 thousandths. All right, now we're going to come over and golly, man, that is some kind of tight. All right, we need to take this out and get it going through that heat shield. That's an omission on my part. All right, let's get this screw started here. before we go to set that gap. Okay, so that is really tight. So we've got a really strong magnet there. Okay, so just a little bit of prying action there, and we've got that where it needs to be. All right, so by hand, I'll turn this in as far as I can, which isn't very far. My gosh. All right, so there's 12 thousandths. Now this may have tightened up a little bit. No, it didn't. Okay. You want to check it though. And now that both are set to 12 thousandths, be sure that you're tight. All right, now we need to get wire hooked back up, which, as we saw before, can be rather difficult. Let's see if I can get you guys a view here. Okay. Okay. Let's get this wire pulled back behind the coil, between the cylinder and the coil, and oh boy, that is some kind of not easy to get hooked onto. Same as before, but we'll get there. Pretty darn tough to get to though, that's for sure. And I don't know that it would be easier with the coil out or what, but let's see. It is easier, I can tell you, with a screwdriver to hold that out, so you can't move it inadvertently when you're trying to get the wire hooked up. That helps a lot. Okay, so there we are. That's where it needs to be. All right. Now we'll go ahead and slide this back in place. Which isn't too bad to do. Keep an eye on your plug wire so you don't pinch that. Okay, there we are. Not too bad. So we'll take two of these 10mm bolts, get them in on the top. Get those snugged up a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. And that's incredibly convenient. That now the recoil doesn't want to do its one and only job. Yeah. And that's just because I don't have the bolts in down underneath. So you can see I can move that back and forth. So if the bolts were underneath, we wouldn't have that issue. Oh, look at that now, would you? All right, let me get you guys in on that spark plug. Okay, so I'm gonna hold the boot and preferably not give myself a spark. But if I do, well, I'll take that. And just like that, we've got spark. So now we do know that indeed we do not have points in a condenser, and all that was wrong, even though, you know, things are old, and I mean, this is a pretty old machine, as a matter of fact, 40 years old. The only problem was that the air gap between the flywheel and the coil was too great. That's all that was wrong with this whole generator in the first place. That's probably why we got it for 140 bucks. And that's too much money, by the way, but hey, we'll take it. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and install our nice clean carburetor here. Oh wait, you know what, before we do that, it's a lot easier to do it now to get this linkage hooked up for the what do you call it, the governor. All right, now remember, we got to get this tiny little spring. I think I'll use the needle nose pliers to grab that tiny little no-see-em. Well, that thing is so small that pliers won't even get a hold of it. Let's see here. This stupid flashlight, I'll tell you. Let's see, now this, I'm gonna take this back off again. The spring has come unhooked from way down wherever it's supposed to hook. Honestly, I don't know where that's supposed to hook. Oh, there, I see. Okay, all right. Pretty simple. Hard to see and whatnot, but all right, so we'll go ahead and get this hooked up, slide that together, then we'll grab that spring and, well, gonna try. It's just such a fine little spring, I can't hardly get a hold of it. Oh, it's almost there, but it isn't. All right, there we go. All right, so now we'll put our gasket back on top of the carburetor body. And there. That's being rather stubborn. Okay. Well, let's see here. I know I've got the right fastener, but it does not want to thread into that carburetor. So let's take a look at it and see what the problem is. Of course, there is no problem. Oh, I love it when that happens. Okay, well, put the gasket back on. And we'll take another swing at it. All right, looks good. So I'll put this one in here just for now, though that needs to come back out when I go to put the air cleaner on. All right, now we're going to get our new O-ring on there. Okay, that looks great. Let's see, now, I don't know why the governor plate is being grumpy with me. It doesn't want to slide underneath the carburetor like it's supposed to. Why that would be? Like wow, it doesn't want to. There we go. All right, okay, much better. It was just kind of caught up where it didn't want to be. Hey, while I'm down here, I'm going to get these smaller bolts put back in, holding the recoil and engine cover on. Got to get those back in place. All right, got one started. They're kind of tough to get you down on the bottom side of the motor. Like, for real. Gosh. Okay, so I'll tighten those up here in a minute. Before you know it, this is probably going to run, I'm going to guess. Yeah, I know it definitely could use a new spark plug because that the plug that was in it. Let me show you this. This actually has the original from the factory red paint on it. So, and a thing interesting that DJ at CarQuest pointed out, the R in the part number of this Champion plug, that means this is a resistive spark plug. Kind of somewhat uncommon in 1986. I suppose they were doing that to protect their magnetron, the pointless ignition system. I guess I'm not for sure on that, but so this type of filter will do 1/4 inch line on this part and 5/16 here. And so yeah, we'll be using the 5/16 today. I think this is longer than I want it to be. Let's try this. Got to take a little bit more off of that. All right. Okay. Get our clamp on. And let's see, there's an arrow. If you guys can see the arrow right there, so that indicates your flow in this end and out this end here. So Oh boy, that doesn't want to go on there at all. Just starting to. All right, I'm gonna get that clamp out of there. That's clearly not needed. Not with this fuel line. If I can even get it on. Gosh, it's starting to, but that is a real tight fit. Yeah, that's as far as it's going. And it's not coming off. All right, wonderful. I got a little bit of oil on that on that line now. I can't push it on. Okay, yeah, that looks good. All right, good. I suppose about there. Let's see how this fits on the carburetor now. Okay, that fits nice and snug. Yeah, that's great. Looks good. I'm happy with that. Now, let's see. Well, I'm going to clean up the air filter housing a little bit. Let's get this out here where we got more room to work on it, huh? So as usual with this style of carburetor, you've got like gas buildup, oily in the bottom of the housing here. So otherwise, I believe that looks really good. No issues with that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go get some O-rings because we need to replace this smashed flat O-ring on this. And I'll show you one thing I did off camera on the other Briggs & Stratton that we just got done doing. Stubborn to get off of there. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go get a kit, my box of O-rings. I'll be right back. Okay, that looks much better. Should have done that before I put the O-ring on. All right, now we're going to take this and we'll remove this screw. All right, so I'm going to take this O-ring back off. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is get a little bit of, actually I think I have got some WD. Yeah, I've got some WD right here. All right, so let's try putting this O-ring inside the housing first. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that works. Now we're going to, let's spray the housing here. Get a little lube on that, and now we should be able to get our O-ring to slide on there much easier. There we go. Okay, that worked well. And then we'll put our screw back in. Come on, buddy. There we go. So it won't be long and we should see this machine fire up. Provided that the 40-year-old spark plug is good to go. If not, well, we'll have it going tomorrow. All right, now I'm gonna lower the camera here and get right down there where you guys can see as good as possible anyway. So what we're doing now is, unfortunately, I have to lift this whole thing back up again. Here, let me zoom out so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm really getting tired of picking these things up. Man, they're heavy. But, okay. All right, so that's where that needs to be for now. Then, okay, so we've got, this is the bolt that goes through this bracket and up through the governor plate and into the bottom of the carb. So we're going to take another one of these small O-rings and we're going to put it on, slide it onto that. Let's see here. All right, so now what we're going to attempt to do, and like I said, I did this on the other carburetor and it worked great. So you always have, you know, like the oily material in the bottom of the air filter housing. Well, that's coming out of here too, and it's always dripping. And as you can see, it makes a great big mess on everything. So a big oily mess. I don't really want that because I'm going to clean this up when we're done, and I'd like it to stay that way. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take an O-ring and we're going to slide it between the governor plate and the carburetor body. Then we're going to take the second one and we're going to set it on top of this bracket. Now we'll take our bolt and go through that. Now we're going to come up here and we need to get through the governor plate and that next O-ring, and then we need to start getting it threaded into the carburetor. That's a lot of stuff going on a very short bolt. I gotta be real close. It sure feels like it wants to go. All right, I think I got it. No, that is not straight. Darn it. But like I say, yeah, this is not easy to get it started. But once you do, well then all of that silly leaking nonsense, that's over with. Seeping or whatever you want to call it. All right, so what I'm going to do here to try to make this easier, let's go ahead and adjust the camera. Let's go ahead and get our air filter in place. All right, so there's that. Where's the next part? Here. Okay, so this goes in next. Make sure that's nice and clean. All right, drop that into place, grab a wing nut, and get that tight. And then the bracket is supported and we're not fighting with that. So that'll take a minute to thread that on, but getting there. All right, so that's nice and tight. Now things are supported here. So let's see if we can't get our bolt started here. So now we're compressing all 3 of those O-rings, making a leak-proof seal. That's nice and tight. All right. All right, so while I'm down here with an 11 millimeter, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up these 2 bolts down below.